Hey everybody, welcome back to Easeldoesitstudio. So today we are going to wrap a resin cabochon. So I've been playing around a little bit. I got this and it's like, it's okay, but it's, it isn't the greatest. And then I have a bigger one. I did this one. I just did this one, and I really like the way this one turned out. So that is what I'm gonna show you how to make today. I'm just gonna take this cabochon out, and I'm gonna use this one where it's, similar in size, just a little bit different. All right, let me zoom in so that hopefully you can see what I'm doing, because we all make these cabochons and then we're like, you have to glue them to something, or they're all the same. This way here, you could make them different. So I'm going to use the 20 gauge wire, and I'm going to start with, say 10 inches. Which is probably more than I need, and I'm gonna do 3 of these at 10 inches. Yeah, if I could just, kind of hang on to stuff at the same time, it would be really nice. And we'll do a 3rd one. And then I will straighten these out. All right, so we've got our 3 pieces of 20 gauge wire. So I'm just gonna take my nylon jaw pliers and we're gonna straighten them out as best as we can. So what is everybody's weather today? We are having an unusual fall. We have still been getting 80s, and normally we've seen times that, we've had the wood stove going by now. So for the last day of September, we are way above our average temperature. All right, so we're gonna get our 3 wires. I'm gonna try to get them so that they're all together. So I've got some tape, and I found this really makes a difference. It helps. All right, so we're gonna get 3 of them flat, and then I'm just gonna tape those together. And that's gonna really help, lock our wires in. So I'm just wiggling them, trying to get them as flat as I can. And then we'll put another piece on this end. Just something like that. I'm just kind of wiggling them, trying to get them somewhat, somewhat straight. All right, so now we've got to find our halfway point. So that is right about there. I'm going to take a Sharpie, and we're going to just kind of mark that center. And then I'm going to go an inch on one side and an inch on the other side. Just something like that. So we have our wire marked. So I'm going to take, I don't know what gauge this is. I think it's 22. So I'm going to take 3 inches. We're just going to cut 3, and these don't have to be exact because we're going to be, you know, cutting these. But we need these for a 3 these wraps on the side. So we have one there, one at the bottom, and then one on the side. So that's what we need these for. So we're gonna start with the middle one. Make sure your wires are flat. And I'm gonna go just a little bit on the side of that first mark. This was the hardest part that I found, was trying to close these so that we can make our wraps. Push that all the way up. And then kind of give it a squeeze. There we go. Just so it's holding in place. And then I'm going to support this back wire, and I'm going to bend it over once and then give it a squeeze so that it goes down, but it helps start tightening these wires up. And we're just going to do this like 5 or 6 times. So you just want your wires to be laying flat. Now the side that this is going to be the inside of our cabochon bale. All right, we'll do one more. Squeeze them together. So I'm going to bring this down. And then coming back up. We're going to squeeze this again. So that is the front, what the front looks like. And let me just kind of squeeze that snug. So that's our first like little spot. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this so that it comes in the middle of this this wire here. And we're just gonna squeeze that down, make sure there's no pokey bits. And so I'm just, you can see how little I'm, and then we're gonna fold this over, straighten that. So that's underneath. That's going to be on the this part of the cabochon. And then we're going to do the same thing here and here. Like I said, this is the hardest part right here. All right, let me just try to hold it this way. There we go. And this way here, it just kind of helps. And I just want that over on the other side, like that. So then I have that to hold. And we're gonna just wrap. I'm gonna go around, squeeze it, go back under all the way, squeeze it, over, squeeze, over, we'll do one more. So, and I got mine backwards, but that's all right. Okay. All right, so that's the top, but that's okay. And you see how my mark is right there? So when I bring this other piece down, that will cover that. There we go. Because we want all of our tuck-in on the same side. And that's just a little too long, so I'm just gonna pull that back and we'll snip some of that off. That way it's in the middle, and that gives us 4 wraps on the front. I'm gonna pull this up, and again, we're gonna cut it so that it's sitting in the middle of our piece. And it's still a little bit long. There we go. Okay. So I do eventually want to do this with a thicker gauge. Now I'm using one of my pieces, so that's why I said it didn't really matter. I'd rather have some extras cut than not have enough. All right, so I'm gonna bend that over. I'm gonna try to squeeze it a little bit more with my finger. There we go. And again, I want that on the opposite side, just because of the way I pull my wraps around. Okay. So then I'm gonna hold that, and we're gonna flip that around and we'll squeeze it. And then we will have to mess with our bracelet here because it's getting a little bit wonky, but That's okay. All right, so now we're gonna just tuck this back under. Squeeze them tight. And I said 4. So we got one more time around. So I'm going to come up. And then we'll tap that down. Push this one up. Snip that. There, so we have our 3 wrapped points, which also help keep our, and I cut this one on the wrong side, but you know, I'm still learning. All right, so now we're gonna take this and we are going to bend this around the cabochon. So when I did the first one, I found it a little bit easier kind of doing it on like the table like this, because it's easier to hold that in place. And I didn't get my marks even, as you can see, but let me see. Sometimes you can pull them down. Sometimes you can't. It depends on how snug you get them. And I wanted to make sure that these were snug. So, yeah, it's a little bit better. So I'm going to take my bent nose pliers. I'm going to pull that around. We're going to pull that around. And then I'm just going to take that and flip them up and see. All right, so those definitely, because you want this area here to be snug. And then we can just kind of get these going straight again. All right, so we have something like this. And let me just take these. All right. Now we're just going to take a piece of scrap wire and we're just going to messy loop this. I'm just going to get it started, get it over here. Because this is basically just helping us hold this in place. Just kind of helping keep that closed a little bit so we can get our cabochon on and get that where we need it to be. And then this is going to come off. Just something that's going to kind of hold that together. Okay. So now we have our little spot for our cabochon. So I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to pull one of the wires away a little bit. I'm going to take my bent nose pliers and I'm just going to tilt that in. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. Try to get it in about the same spot, and I'm just twisting. Okay, I'm going to get that back on there. And we'll twist that in. So that is it locked on to the back for now. All right, so make sure that that is in where it needs to be. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the front. I'm going to take the inside wire and I'm going to twist it and pull it in. And then I'm going to pull the other side and do the same thing. So we have it. There we go. I had it. It's the only thing when you're trying to bend your wire and try to go in the same direction. Sometimes, for me, it's hard. So now our cabochon is pretty much locked in there. So if you need to fix your wires, now is the time to do that. All right. So now we're going to lock these together. So I'm just going to hold this here and we're going to wrap one, need something to hold right there. Bring that over. And we're going to squeeze that. Bring that under. Do a squeeze. Bring that up. Do a squeeze. Okay, I'll bring that one back up. Squeeze that down. Bring that to the back. Bring this to the back. And that we have the front of our pendant all, so it's all locked in. And again, I'm gonna cut this so that I can tuck it under in that little cavity. I do want to squeeze these together as much as I can. And then this wire can come off after. All right, let's cut that. And then we're gonna tuck that in. All right, let's take our tape off because that will kind of help us get that wire off quicker. Then I can just slide it off. I just broke a nail, so that doesn't help trying to get the wire off because now I got a broken piece on my nail. If you can find the end, it works easier to just like twist it off, and then we'll take those wires off. All right, now we can kind of straighten our little wires up here, and I should have separated them first, and that's what I did on the other one, and I forgot on this one. But so separate them before you take your tape off, if you can. All right. And then we're going to take 2 of the wires, the back ones, and we're going to pull them straight up. Okay. So before we go too much further on there, I want to make sure that our cabochon is nice and secure. So I'm gonna take that back wire up here and gonna kind of do the same thing. You can just get a little piece started, then you can, there we go. So now we have, the back of that is completely enclosed. So that's not gonna go anywhere, there's nothing sharp. Okay, so this one here, let's see, I think I'm gonna go this way. So I'm just gonna start using my finger, and we're gonna start getting like a bend going. And then we'll do the same for this one, but up a little bit. See how it's up a little bit higher than the other one? And then we'll get that going this way. And we'll bring this one going around the back. I'm doing this one a little bit different. UPS must be here or something. Okay, so we have 2 little bendy things. Now I'm going to take this top wire, the shortest one, and I'm going to give it 1 complete loop around so we can lock that in place. And then I'm going to do the same for this. And then we're going to bring them together. And then I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna go over these top of these 2 wires. So I'm gonna do one first and then do the other one. Like that. And why do I have one wire missing? What did I do? It's right here. I'm like, I lost a wire. All right, so that one goes with that one, and that one goes this way. Okay. So I'm going to take my flat nose, my nylon jaw ones, and we're just going to smooth that and start getting kind of like a curve. And let me take the round nose, the little round nose ones. I'm going to snip some of this off because we don't need that much. And then that way they're even. And let's use these ones. We're going to use my fingers here. I want these to start coming around onto the front, but I want the wires side by side. Then I can take my my round nose, like right at the end, and start making a spiral. And then we'll do the same on the other one. And then we're just gonna push those flat. Oops. And if you slip like I did, you just gotta re-straighten it out. Bring one up, one down. And then this one, let's snip this a little bit. I'm going to keep this one a little longer. And we're going to go the opposite way with this. So I'm just going to slowly and then I can take my skinny ones and get that loop inside. Because I want that on the inside. I'm going to snip this a little bit. There we go. Push it down, and then we're gonna just swirl it in. Okay. And then this one, I'm just going to spin this around like up on the top. So this way here, this is kind of like bent at an angle, just a, you know, you could even give it a little twist in here. Yeah. Okay. So, we're almost done, guys. But look at how cute that is. And it's unique. It's something different. It's, you know, not like anybody else's. So I'm going to leave enough so we have a area to put our chain through or whatever. All right, and then I'm gonna kick this up, and then we're gonna lock this into here. So I'm gonna do one at a time, and I'm gonna cut some of this because I'm finding when you are working with the wire, it's better to go, you know, have enough to work with, but still enough that you can, so I want it to go in and around that bail. See how it's right here? And then I want to tuck it so that it comes through the other side. And, you know, it would really help if you could see what you're doing. Let me see, where is my wire here? There we go. Got to get it going in the right direction. So I'm just going to pull it through, and then I can bring it back up through. There we go. And I'm going to have to fix that after. All right. And then I'm just going to snip that. And then we're going to tuck that in into all these wires, so there's nothing sharp. And I'm going to take this and all right, so let's get our bail going the right way here again. Okay. Yeah, my goodness. Why must it be so difficult? All right, I'm just gonna go just to double keep those bales in place. I'm gonna go through there and then we'll cut it and tuck it. And now we have our bale that is crossed over. Oh well, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to try to straighten these out. Yeah. And now we have our second cabochon that is all nice and secure, and you can put it on a chain. So they're similar, but yet different. You know, so you could do whatever you want for swirls going down the front or whatever, but I figured I would pop on and show you that this is literally my very first one, other than that other one I had tried, and this is my second one. So not too bad. This one came out much better, which I don't know why. I just, when I'm on film, I suck. I really do. But that is today's video, guys. I just wanted to show you that there is another way of doing, using up the cabochons that we make. Now, this one is clear, so if you were to use this, the wire would show like behind it. See what I mean? So you would see whatever's on the back. So these type of, if you're doing these type of cabochons, definitely either having some glitter in them or like a holographic color or something like that would definitely work much better for these. So we will be making some more cabochons, different shapes and stuff, and trying some different, you know, other ways of wrapping it. But this is our side, so I'm definitely getting more comfortable with maneuvering my wire and that type of stuff. So, and this one is pretty close compared to this one, was a little bit higher than this one. But I managed to kind of get them fairly even on this one. So yeah. Alrighty, guys, I will see you on the next video. Bye, guys.